Hello everybody and welcome to another video of Rugby Chats with Angus. I'm your host Angus Opperman, and in this video I will be talking about what was a marvelous, fantastic Super Rugby Aotearoa tournament. I'll be looking at this past weekend Super Rugby AU results as well as the upcoming matches of this weekend. Talk about the British and Irish Lions tour a bit, as well as give out my own awards of the Super Rugby Aotearoa tournament. So let's get into it. So first up, the Highlanders saved the best for last, getting a comprehensive win over the Hurricanes by 38 points to 21. I'm not sure where this Highlanders team was when it really mattered. Well, to be fair, they played quite well, just couldn't finish the job twice against Crusaders. So kudos to them for putting on a marvelous performance. And unfortunately, the much anticipated Blues and Crusaders match at Eden Park couldn't go ahead because of a COVID-19 reinfection. You can call it the second wave in Auckland. And so that match never happened. But Crusaders deserve a champions, although they damaged the trophy. And it's a clash that we probably will be looking forward to when these sides ever meet again. You know what we sort of expected in the World Cup last year that the All Blacks and the Springboks would play the 100th match between the two. In the final, it didn't come to that. The Springboks played England, and we all know what happened. But the 100th match was going to happen in New Zealand this year, and it might still, but it would have happened in the Rugby Championship. So we are still waiting for Game 100 to happen between the current world champion Springboks and the former world champions All Black. But yeah, that's another story for another day. And I'll be moving on now to Super Rugby AU, where the Western Force went down to the Waratahs by 28 points to 8. The Waratahs seemed to get the mojo back after smashing the Reds last week. And speaking of the Reds, got a good 19-3 win over the Rebels, who was good against the Brumbies the previous week. So you can say that it's quite close in the Aussie competition, but the quality isn't always that great. But I have to say there are improvements, so I'm not going to bash them each week like I do. And I'm just going to give a quick update on the ladder, what it looks like in the tournament so far. So we have the Brumbies on top with 18 points. The Reds secondly with 16, Waratahs third with 15, the Rebels fourth with 14, and the Western Force being the only team out of the race for the semi-finals with 2 points. So it's pretty much anyone's ball game. We're heading into week 8, and as far as I know, this is the final week of the competition, so it's all to play for. I think if the Rebels actually got the win last week like they were tipped to, they would have been in prime position, but now they might lose out. This is how tight this competition is, and it's literally anyone's ball game. So yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to go, but we'll have to see what happens this weekend. But the fixtures are the Force up against the Reds and the Brumbies up against the Waratahs. I'm going to stick my neck out, and obviously the Reds are going to win that one because the Force hasn't been good, but you never know. They haven't been bad either so far as well. But I'm going to stick my neck out and say the Waratahs might just upset the Brumbies. I don't know why I get that feeling, but Brumbies playing at home in Canberra, maybe too much to ask of the Waratahs. But I just kind of feel they are on this sort of run, since, getting that big win over the Reds 2 weeks ago. So maybe, just maybe, they might upset the apple cart and go on to the final straight up. Who knows? But we'll see how things go. And for those African fans, the British and Irish Lions tickets, they will be available from the 2nd of September. If you haven't registered as of yet, you have to go to lionstour2021.co.za. I think that is the link. I'll just double check. But I put it at the bottom of the screen after I do the editing of this video. So if you haven't registered yet, please do. It's going to be a big event. I mean, I've had friends asking me if they can buy with me because normally I'm the ticket guy. And I say to them, listen, it's not normally the case of I can just log onto the ticket site and get everyone's tickets like I normally do. It's very much different. I'm not even guaranteed, who's been a low ticket buy for the last 8 to almost 10 years. And I have no guarantee that I'm going to get tickets for the Lions tour, even to watch the Stormers in Cape Town, albeit, or even in another province, So yeah, there's a lot of if, buts, and maybes on this, and I'm quite nervous that I might not be sorted out. But guys, I urge you can't rely on a friend this time around. Please register on the website. It's the only way to secure. And I think if you do get selected via the lottery system, you can get up to 7 or 8 tickets. So just please register. I'm urging you guys to do that. And make sure that we have more green and gold in the stands as opposed to red. So yeah, we don't want a repeat of 2009. And now we get to the Super Rugby 2020 Aotearoa Awards. Now, this is not based on specific stats or anything, but basically just on what I've seen during the tournament, what I've been impressed with, who I've been impressed with. And this is just my own made up awards. It doesn't mean anything to anyone. So, if you don't like something, you can definitely disagree with me. I wouldn't hold it against you, I wouldn't be mad at it. You can tell me who you actually wanted in for that award. So let's go. So the best of the bench award goes to Jamie Booth. I met Jamie last year when he played for the Sunwolves against the Stormers in Cape Town, and he's quite a nice guy, I must say. But he's been impressive back then, and he's been a worthy deputy to TJ Perenara. So to actually fill the boots of a man of that caliber, is quite remarkable. And Jamie has been very, very good coming off the bench for the Hurricanes. And then the best young forward, I selected Hoskins Tutu of the Blues. He has just been so incredible since day one. 21 years old and just causing havoc. I mean, Akira Ioane was tipped to be, probably the one guy that needed a bit of a rebirth, after his form dip. And he got a bit of that, after Hoskins got injured. But, Hoskins for that first, I think 4 or 5 rounds have been amazing for the Blues. And I wouldn't be surprised if an All Black call-up is nearby in the future. And then the best young back goes to Will Jordan. He also could probably get the award of the best of the bench player. But I went for best young back, because Will Jordan has been so freaking electric for the Crusaders. Coming off the bench, whether he started, it didn't matter, he gave everything and he didn't put a foot wrong or a hand wrong. He was just incredible for the Crusaders, and there's even talks of him of becoming a potential All Black. So I think that says a lot, if you are in conversations like that, and not just by normal fans, but even by rugby websites, respected sites, that they actually hype you up like that. That means you have done something right. And Will Jordan definitely does deserve this award from my side at least. And also the most improved forward goes to Shannon Frizzell. I'm saying most improved basically because, after All Black selection and a few test matches, I think it was in 2016 or 2017, Shannon has been a bit off form. But, he's kind of getting his mojo back, you can say. I've seen Shannon going through a dip. I think many other fans as well, at the Highlanders. And he's just starting to find that thing that made him an All Black. He has that grunt about him again. I don't know, maybe just me who saw it. But that's my award, going for the most improved forward. And the most improved back is Aotearoa Black. Playing a team for the Blues with Bowden Barrett at 15. He's had a good influence from Dan Carter, I feel. He's been really amazing for the Blues. And I remember Aotearoa, in previous years, not really getting a crack, and they would then change him with Steven Perofeta, and they would always change their 10. But Aotearoa has been so consistent, and his game management has been so good. So basically, it was never a case of, he didn't have the talent or the temperament. He just didn't have the coaching or the experience passed on to him. And having Dan Carter in your group does wonders. And you guys might hate me for what I'm going to say later on. But in any case, we'll get you that, later on anyway. And then I would say the best player in the losing side was, to me, Lachlan Boshier. Now, I played a bit of draft rugby with some guys, online draft. And when we selected our teams, I sort of went with the spine, and then I went with my other players, and I'm a big believer still, even after all these years, even though the roles have changed and everything, I'm still a big believer in the future. I still believe that, I get it that, anyone can do it these days. You have guys like Malcolm Marx, like Hooker, and even like Damon Allen to compete at the breakdown. You get guys in any position that can actually go over the ball and actually steal it to win a penalty. But I'm still a big fan of the out-and-out feature. I think that's just one of the key elements or even key attributes any player can have. If I think back to a guy like Heinrich Brousseau, Francois Lowe, in that World Cup semi-final against Wales, he was amazing. I mean, it could have gone either way, but he went the Springboks way and they won the game. So, just that key, number 6 or number 7, depending on which country you play at. But normally number 6, it's key to have a guy that can have a low sense of gravity and just go over the ball. I think back of guys like Dion Fourier, the Stormers, and now like could see being in similar mode as well. So Lachlan Boshier has been that guy, and I've been so impressed with his work rate. Although the Chiefs was losing everything, he was the big winner, I would say, because he might get an All Black call up based on that performances. And then, last but not least, the biggest flop is, don't hate me, Dan Carter. Now, before you go, oh, what are you talking about? You don't know rugby. Hear me out. I'm saying the biggest flop mainly because he didn't play, and there were two reasons for that. One was, I think he got injured and there wasn't clarity on his Blues debut. And secondly, the COVID-19 pandemic breaking out again in Auckland didn't help his case either. And apparently, he would have played in that last match against Crusaders, his old team, who he won championships with and has been since forever. It would have been a perfect, you can say, I don't even know how to put this, it would have been a perfect, comeback story for Dan Carter in a sense, he could have gotten one over his old team, but it never happened. And I'm saying biggest flop with all the respect in the world to Dan the man. I'm not saying it with any disrespect, because like I've mentioned with Aotearoa Black, he has been key into helping him with elements of his game management, how to control things, when to kick, when to pass, all those basic, fine skills Dan coached in him. And it really showed in Aotearoa's game. So yeah, my biggest flop is Dan Carter, because he was signed and he never played a match. But for other reasons, can't fault the man. But hey guys, that's all from my side. I hope there's some good rugby this weekend. I actually caught a bit of premiership last weekend as well. I watched Harlequins up against Sale Sharks. Harlequins winning that one quite convincingly. Marcus Smith being quite key in that game as well at number 10. And the South Africans looking a bit rusty, after the World Cup. Might still have a bit of a hangover, who knows. But it's been a couple of months and they've played before as well. So I don't know what's going on there. But in any case, I'm not a Premiership fan, but yeah, I look to maybe bring more content from that side of the world as well, seeing that we don't have much to talk about. South African rugby might start in mid-September, so that's something to look forward to. They're still waiting on news for full contact training, so yeah, that's going to be another topic for another day, and I'll discuss that with you guys, in the near future. But for the rest of it, guys, you guys must keep well, keep safe, wash your hands, stay away from each other, and enjoy the rugby coming up this weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Cheers.